Well, it is 7:30, so I will call us to order. I also do not see anyone from the public, so I will assume we do not have public participation. First order of business, we could entertain the minutes from the August 29th meeting.
I motion to approve the August 29th meeting minutes as written.
Second. Robin?
Yes.
And I am a yes. Just writing down. So the minutes are approved. Thank you. Next on the agenda is our other channels of promotion and communication. So I think the active thing on that list was about the videos that we had been collaborating with WCAT on. So we have 2 at this point, and a bunch of raw footage. And then the person at WCAT who had been working on that has left, unfortunately. So they're gonna find someone else to take on the rest of the project. And I didn't film any new ones at Town Day. I had intended to, but then
The weather
nothing came up that was like, yeah, and we'll talk about that in the next section of the agenda. But so I don't have any new videos. I have a few folks in mind who have said things that have made me think that they might want to do a video. So, we'll continue to sort of be opportunistic about that as it comes up. Maybe at the EV showcase or at other events, we'll find people and record them when appropriate.
For lots of reasons, I think that is the right pace.
Yeah. Did you learn anything else on the trail stewards? Any promotion that we need to or
So
could help with there?
haven't gone back and reached out to Judy about it. So it is a to be done. I did introduce myself because he came over Town Day to the new town agent for conservation, who I think is then different than Judy Green, or did he replace Judy Green? His name is Ethan something. So I'm brand new to the role and so forth, but I will I forgot that this was on my to-do. I was thinking more of the owls or the bats. But I'm curious while we're talking, I might look to see if Judy's even if he I never thought to only now speaking do I realize that did he replace Judy or were those 2 different roles? Because it's not always clear where I said.
Yeah, I sure don't know.
Because she was the one person. But super nice guy. The new one.
Sorry, that was not to you.
I'm not taking offense to any of it. I figured as much.
Good. Well, that's awesome. And Judy is certainly someone who from time to time has sent us things that we could put on our Facebook, like, oh, here's a great thing about pollinators or native plants or the value of wetlands. So if you get a chance to relay to Ethan as well, like anything they find that is important in the environmental conservation space that they'd like us to help share. We're always looking for good articles, tidbits to share online.
So she is she's the Conservation Commission secretary, and he is listed as the Conservation Commission conservation agent. So they are separate roles.
Those are 2 different things. Okay, but I don't know what either of those specifically mean.
I don't fully understand either. I should, given my mom, she sits on a conservation commission for my hometown, but she is a volunteer and these are paid positions. So I don't know, maybe that would be part of me saying hi to Judy again.
Sounds good. Well, I'm curious for anything you learn, but doesn't sound urgent. Next on the agenda is recapping past events. So we've had two events since our last meeting. One was our tour of Black Earth Compost on the 16th, September 16th. It was fun, not very well attended. It was on a Monday evening, which I think is a hard time for folks. We had a handful of additional folks who had expressed interest or even said that they would come and then didn't end up making it. Um, so we had a small group, but Justin gave us a detailed tour of their facility. We took some pictures. We asked a whole lot of questions. Um, it was very neat. It's a very cool, like they're just doing a lot of really interesting, thoughtful stuff, and they do all their own like fabrication. Like they make the lifts for, so let me back up
What?
a step. The trucks that do the pickup have like a to
Yeah.
dump the barrels for the bigger barrels. Stop that. Stop it. Stop it. You need to not do that. You're gonna have to sit on my lap if you can't behave. I know it's a terrible threat. So for the bigger barrels, like the ones we have at the schools or that you might see outside of farmland, for instance, for those bigger barrels, they've got the like lifty thingy. And they make them themselves because it's far more cost effective to make it themselves than to buy them. And they're like super strong and real hardy. It's like neat stuff. They're just like doing all sorts of cool stuff over there. And they had this like a bunch of the barrels hanging out waiting to be delivered, and the raised bed, like the kit, the wood that they sell the kits to make raised bed gardens, and they had all the piles of finished compost and bagged finished compost, and then we got to see it sort of in all the different stages of like, this just came off the truck today. This has been sitting there for a couple of weeks. This has already like baked for a bit. So it was very neat.
How did it smell?
It smelled pretty good. I mean, like
Yeah.
the out in the open air part smelled like nothing. Like couldn't tell you were anywhere. It's on a
Right.
capped landfill, so it's like on this little hill, the hill being a capped landfill.
Oh,
Um, right off of the highway, right off of 128. But then they have this. I posted a couple of pictures that Melissa took on our Facebook. So there's this big white sort of curved building that's where the stuff goes first to begin decomposing. Um, and it's like enclosed. That had some smell, but they actually have this really cool, it's called think it was called a biofilter. I was gonna say biovac, biofilter, where like big tube of airflow comes out of that building, it's like sucked out of that building and then goes through basically like a swimming pool full of wood chips, essentially. That the wood chips serve to filter out all of the smell from the air. So the air
oh,
from this building, inside this building where the decomposing is happening, doesn't just go out. It goes through this giant vat of wood chips to de-smell before leaving, which was pretty neat. And yeah, so like inside the building, it smelled a little, a little composty, but not terrible considering the
so
volume of stuff in.
so they're a good neighbor. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, like you couldn't really tell what was going on. I mean, and then they also have so I guess they're sort of the dump site for the town they're in, Manchester by the Sea. So they also have some recycling facilities like that are co-located,
Similar to our
including a
pit.
big they similar like yeah, like our pit. They have a big scrap metal dumpster and a few other like pickups for hard to recycle items because they have a hard to recycle items program that they're doing also where they'll pick stuff up. So they have some stuff there that they just basically aggregate and then like the fabric, the textiles people come to them and
Right.
grab from the bin. So
Nice.
yeah, it's very neat. Yeah. And we talked about some of the challenges. So, um, in things that should surprise no one, schools are among the more challenging of the customers because of contamination of non-compostable items. And things like fruit stickers, straws, and ketchup packets are among the worst offenders. Sounds
Oh,
familiar. We've heard that
well,
story
I've
before.
never in my combos from them, I've not come across a ketchup package. Although they tend to be bigger, so that helps. But the straws, I
I
mean the
think they're bigger.
stickers, no.
Yeah.
The
The
stickers,
stickers are the ones that sneak through because they have this. We didn't get to see it in action. It was too bad this was not actually happening at the moment. There's it's like a big like a
like a sifter.
van-sized cylinder that
Okay.
is like a, yeah, it's like a sieve. So the stuff goes through there and the good compost leaves, and it just basically keeps the trash in the middle. So like that'll end up with the straws and forks and ketchup packets. And it just like puts all the compost out through the holes.
Hmm.
Um, but I think, yeah, so fruit stickers are the worst because they're small enough
Yes.
probably to go, not get caught by that. Um, so, and they pick them out to the best of their ability,
Oh,
but in any,
no doubt.
bag, yeah,
Yeah. Well, that's cool.
yeah. So anyway, so it was a fun field trip. We had a good time.
Sorry, my husband just got home. Anything by having this new facility talk about costs, or does it just keep them from costs going up because of just operating costs going up? Like from our standpoint.
Well, so I mean, I don't know how it like specifically applies to Wakefield's costs, but from the standpoint of Black Earth Compost as a whole, having I think they have a few facilities now. Having more facilities means they're trucking stuff less distance, right? Like from wherever they're picking stuff up, you don't want to have to schlep it halfway across the state, right? That adds to the cost and to the emissions involved in
Right, yep.
processing the stuff. So that certainly helps to have more, more facilities around the areas where they're doing stuff. But it seemed like this one is also like a, bigger, more efficient, by having it covered, that like domey building. I think it is, I don't know by what standard, but it is better than the just open air. Because you can see there are videos on their website of how they were doing it at their other facilities, which is they basically just like make big rows of the stuff and just turn it over and
Right.
warm it up and let it bake. So I think it maybe processes either faster or better just by being in this contained space, less smell.
I mean, if,
Um,
yeah, if you can keep the heat helps, the organisms move faster, especially when come winter. So yeah, trapping in
mm,
an enclosure.
right, right. Yeah, that would make
Cool.
sense. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So it's good. So that was the tour. Um, and then Town Day. So we were at Town Day last weekend. It was a little soggy. Um, but we got some folks coming by. The topics I heard during my shift, the topics I heard a lot about were composting. I think having the barrels out front there for us to use is often a good, uh, reminder that that's one of our favorite topics. And then recycling, the surprise about black plastic not being recyclable, perennial surprise.
Same
So
for
we
me,
might,
but top,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and then State Senator Lewis came by and
Oh,
he mentioned something. I thought he said something about there's some legislation brewing, I don't know sort of at what stage, around plastic reduction and waste bans. And I mentioned to him how we have some of them already in place in Wakefield. Um, I might be misremembering, but I want to say there was something in the proposals about getting rid of like banning black plastic. because of
Oh,
its,
black plastic. Ooh, I've heard that there's a bill for single-use plastic bags trying to go statewide.
that'd be great.
Although that may have been a bill under a previous legislative year. It's hard to track. But
Yeah,
I mean, if they are recognizing that it's, I mean, the conversations I had with it, I keep saying it's not that it's not recyclable, it's that our facility can't
can't
handle it.
identify it. Yeah.
So, it's that odd situation of like the cost, benefit and figuring out a solution for it. So
Yeah.
if you can avoid doing it being black plastic and therefore it eliminates the issue, fantastic. But
Mhm.
it is recyclable. I mean, it's still made out of
Mhm.
something that's,
Sure. Right.
but the whole process is expensive as it is. So having them solve the black part is
Hmm.
uh not a challenge. Well, that's cool. That's great that he stopped by and
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and from things he's posted and shared in his newsletters, it seemed like he's, a fan of sustainability things generally and, proposing good stuff. So it's nice to have him stop by. Um, we talked about the EV showcase. I don't know if we got any new signups at that event, but certainly, talked it up. That's about it. And we had the games from Mass Energize, which was fun to have something, to engage with.
agreed. Yeah, no, thank you for picking that up and whatnot.
Yeah.
The I may have her title wrong. She may be a youth minister at the First Baptist Church.
Hmm.
They are organizing something they call Eco Labs, a hands-on sustainability class for students grades 5 to 8. It starts in mid-October and runs through November.
Mm.
They hope to teach kids about sustainability at home, learn about composting, participate in a service project, and get creative.
Cool. Well, that's great.
So I suggest, so they gave me this flyer with a QR code, which of course I scanned the photo, not the, actually it was in the, did you get this stuff back on the table?
Yes.
So in there is a piece of paper with this.
Okay.
So I,
Sounds
I
good.
said that, thank you for stopping by. We, as not a member of the church, I had no idea. And that, maybe we could cross socials about it,
Yeah.
because I believe they're offering it to anyone, not necessarily members of the church.
Cool. That's awesome.
So, and I guess that'll be this fall's kind of after school thing, on Tuesdays, and this, maybe in the winter, they may have a different theme, so they're not always gonna be sustainability focused, but they're trying to develop what they call a creativity lab,
Hmm.
which I guess exists elsewhere, where they provide tools such as sewing, machines and other crafts things, and people can rework it, so to
Oh,
speak.
like a makerspace sort of thing.
Exactly, yep.
Cool. Oh, that's great.
So
That's
instead of borrowing the equipment, you come to them.
very cool. Neat. Anything else from your shift at Town Day?
No, I think being the second half and the weather, is, I'm glad we went and we, but it would have last year's event weather-wise was just awesome. So we were
Yeah,
spoiled.
yeah. Well, and I'm sure the crowds were smaller because the weather wasn't great.
Yep.
Not much you can do about
Yep. But again, thank you to the DPW for
that.
giving us the recycling bins, because no one actually put anything in it. So it almost put trash, and as soon as I said compost, he knew to hold on to it. So
Good.
always good
Good.
reinforcement.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for the tent. I'm very glad we had a tent.
Anytime, yes.
It was quite soggy when we first arrived. My kids sat with the Human Rights Commission next door to us because they had their tent up already, so they had a dry spot. So he was up for adoption to other committees and councils that had tents. But it was
Did
a
you make
good
it
event.
over to the DPW tent?
I didn't, but he did. He played the toilet paper toss and
Well, I
won
was
some
gonna
great
ask you,
prizes
did you?
and was very excited about it. Yes.
From
Yes.
a distance, all I saw was a poop emoji, and I didn't know whose tent it was, so it did catch my eye and had me go over.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yes, he was trying to describe to me this toilet paper toss, and it was a little, I was a little confused. I wish I had actually wandered over to see it myself, but by the time we were ready to leave, when ready to leave happened, it was ready to leave real fast. Like
Yeah,
we're very
yeah.
soggy, and it was like, look, let's just go.
Meltdown is imminent.
Yeah, yeah. So I didn't see a lot of town day, but other than like the food vendors and our table, immediate neighbors. But glad we did it. We should do it again
Agreed.
next year. It's a fun event. Good to get out there. It occurs to me that sort of this time of year, thinking of like other annual events, similar-ish time of year, there was a new resident 101 kind of event. I wonder if that's
Oh,
happening again this year.
it's a good question.
I will reach out to, ooh, I think Jen McDonald maybe is the one who puts that on. I'll check in with her, or I'll dig up from my email who was involved last year and see.
All right, so November, well, last time it was week, November 2023. Um, that link isn't working for future, but so yes, you're right that it was fall time.
I'll I'll reach out and see. Well, so then moving on to our upcoming events. So in just over a week, we have our EV showcase, October 6th, 10 to 1, Town Hall parking lot. We are up to 15 personal vehicles plus the 4 town or gas and light department vehicles that we're expecting. So that's pretty good. I sent out a few more emails to the folks who did it in the past today, particularly of vehicles that we didn't already have one of them signed up. And I emailed the folks in Melrose who put on the Melrose one back in June. And particularly said, like, here's the list of vehicles we have signed up already. If you have, others, please suggest that they join us. I would also really, maybe if you see folks around, I currently have one e-bike signed up. And I can probably talk my partner's e-scooter into showing up, but it would be lovely to have some more of those non-car electric modes of transit. So if you see any of those around town or know people who use those in their commutes or what have you, it'd be great to get a couple more of those signed up because I know that's part of folks thinking around, their modes of transportation.
We don't have the contact info for the guy who spoke at Festival by the Lake about his bike.
Don't know,
I
which is
didn't recognize him, so I don't know if he
yeah,
was. Is the one Julie's?
yes.
I don't know others who have it. I know folks
I
that.
see some around town from time to time. I even
Right.
put one of our little cards on one that was parked outside of farmland one day. Um,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll keep my eyes
If
up,
you
but
see any just in the next week, let them know. Otherwise I think we're just, continuing to promote. I put a few more flyers up.
is
Um,
someone making those info sheets on the cars that we talked
that
about?
was yeah, that was the next thing I was gonna bring up is like a poster about info. I think Christina said that she would do that.
I think she is our kind of graphics.
Yes. Let me follow up with her and see if that is still something that she wanted to do. What
I
I'm
can, oh,
what I'm not sure of is like, do we do we think it's valuable to have it list the actual vehicles that are present? Like we have a 2023 Hyundai Ioniq and a 2024 blah 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 blah. Like, does it need to have that, or is it enough to have like because someone pointed to there are a couple of like national sites that gather
Right,
all,
Jen.
yeah, that have all of the info about, range and other like specs and stuff. So I wonder if it's sufficient just to like be pointing people to that site.
So I saw the good thing about it is thinking of it like if you were to go to a car showroom, right? There is
Mm.
like just a one quick key facts about the car, and then they
Hmm.
probably nowadays have QR codes to learn more. But
Hmm.
just a few things about the car you're looking at in case the owner has stepped away or talking to
Hmm.
somebody else, you can at least know what you're looking at, because otherwise
Yeah.
all you would know is the brand or the model, whatever.
Yeah.
But that was my thought, is just a few um consistent facts we put on the car for each car.
Hmm.
So make, model, range, um, if there's, I don't know, what other infos that people choose cars on in terms of, and we talked about, do you list price? I guess manufacturer price range would be available, but so many different trim kits and whatnot, we
Yeah.
don't have to disclose what this person paid for it. Just,
Right. Right.
what, just a order of magnitude of the differences of cars, because I
Right. Hmm.
imagine there is quite a range.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if she agrees but wants someone to just pull up the data to give her, let me know and
Okay.
I'll,
That's good. Yeah, and I can pull the list of which cars are signed up. Although
yep.
probably would want to do that like middle of next week, just in case more sign up in the meantime, so that we're not, or I guess we could start with the list that are currently signed up and then add if there's new joinees. So okay, I will follow up with Christina, and if she needs some support, I will send her your way. Um, and then I think the only other thing, well, two other things. I'm gonna connect with the Melrose person again for those big flag, um, mm, flappy banner
Yep.
things. Feather signs, that's the word.
Oh, that's what they're called.
That's what they're called. Yeah, the like tall ones that
Yep.
kind of feather shaped. So we're gonna get those hopefully. And then um I had a fleeting idea, can't remember if I mentioned this last time, of asking like one of our local frozen snack vendors to come by. Um and not to like not that we sponsor it, but just that they set up a slush stand nearby to the showcase that might be delightful. I have
I
a
don't know if you can reach out to folks like that as a public event through a town committee. You, the town might have had a need to advertise and then let people apply for it.
oh, interesting. Okay, because
Because I don't know if we can offer it to somebody. I would hesitate to suggest that.
got it. Okay. I had thought of it from the standpoint of the application that we submitted for using the space. When we submitted it, said no food. So I had reached out to Sherry saying, what if we decide to invite a frozen treat vendor? And she said that she could add that to the application and that Health and Human Services would reach out about it, but didn't mention the need to pose it to multiple vendors. So that's a good point.
So I don't know. I just
Yeah.
um think we should be careful.
Yeah, that's a good point. Um, at this
But
point,
just but to that point, just to so Creations has been coming to the farmers market,
yes.
which was a surprise because they're brick and mortar, but they actually made a mini store that
Mm.
they travel with. So, from a local business standpoint.
Hmm. Okay.
I said Creations, I meant Cravings. My
Oh,
mistake.
yeah, like the cart. Yes, they were one
Yeah,
of the ones that I was gonna
yeah.
that I had spoken to about it. Um, but yes, if it's not if we can't do it that way, then that it's also probably too late at this point, it being a week and a half away, so that it has not been approved. It's probably just gonna go the way of other ideas that do not materialize. Um, skip. Ice cream. I can't think of anything else we need for the event. I'll
So
probably
do we
call
have a
for.
little table for ourselves? You know, is there a need?
So last year we had a table
Okay.
and no one went to it.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
because people are just and maybe because of sort of how the parking lot was arranged, and maybe we could do it differently in this parking lot. But
DPW is gonna cone it off, right? So,
DPW is gonna cone it off like the afternoon before and put up a sign saying no parking,
okay.
and clear it out as best they can, or at least put any cars like way to the back that have to be there. So we'll have it, and I think it's a lot that is not as recreationally used
Yeah,
as
weekend is
on a
probably
weekend.
fairly empty.
Um, so yeah, so they'll cut it off. I believe Gas and Light is gonna bring a table, like have their
Okay.
table with info. We can bring a table and our usual bag of stuff. It's not hard to bring that. I just recall last year we like put info on the table and then I don't think anyone actually
I
spent any
think
time at the
if,
table.
if Gas and Light has one, just putting one next to it, even no one else, it just, if anyone takes a photo of it, it's the only place you'd see our name, like who put it on.
Huh, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, and if we didn't do the table, we could use the tablecloth as a
Just like
banner
hang it up as a banner. We could
on
do
the
that.
rail,
Yeah,
at the
I
railing of
just
town
washed
hall.
it. I just washed it after town day because I figured it probably got a little soggy muddy. Um, okay, yeah, that's fine. And I have a very small folding table. Maybe I'll see if there's a.
So if DPW won't drop one off, I have a
Oh yeah, maybe they.
probably the same as they use for town days, so I would ask them if that's inappropriate, then let me know.
Okay, sounds good. Can ask. Yeah, anything else you can think of for showcase?
Well, I didn't go last time, so I have no sense of what
Oh,
Mr.
I will submit an agenda for it in case we end up with a quorum of our members.
Okay,
The reason we couldn't do that for town day is that the common is not considered accessible. I
fine.
think the parking lot is accessible. Would you?
They offer accessibly labeled parking spaces. So it is not on a steep slope, you can wheel to it. Um, if the issue was on the evenness of the ground of the common, that wouldn't be an issue for the town
Right, 'cause it's
hall, so,
paved.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure.
Okay. I will.
Will the city town hall bathrooms be open, or is this,
Uh,
I'm guessing not, I'm
I would
curious.
think not. No.
Uh-huh. The church will be open if maybe the Baptist will be available.
The library's not far.
True, okay, yeah. Um, yeah, so, well, actually, can we turn this into a event coordinator and not a committee event? Mr. Mullen said that if event is under a person's purview, then it's not, isn't that how we described it?
I think I think that's how we would have initiatives going forward, but
Okay,
until our subcommittee is officially dissolved, I think it would could still constitute a quorum situation if you and I both show up, for instance,
okay. I
even if
didn't,
we're not putting on the event.
well, I was gonna say if the committee still existed, but someone's considered the event organizer, supported by the subcommittee, supported by the large committee, does that change the quorum rules? But yeah, let's put out the agenda and so be it, if, unless they tell us it's not appropriate.
Okay, I will pose the question to Sherry and crew. Um, okay, now that I think that is all that I can think of for that event. Um, tell me, event coordinator about the bats.
I have not done anything, because I kind of partially paused just to make sure I knew how we were moving forward on events. so I didn't want to,
Oh,
so.
I mean, I think we should, my hunch is that at the next full meeting, the next proper full meeting, it is likely that we'll opt to not have subcommittees, at least for things like this.
Okay,
That would certainly be my personal recommendation, is that like this subcommittee as two of us doesn't really have a need to be a subcommittee. And pretty often, as Mr. Mullen suggested, one or the other of us is like the point person doing an event and then gets help from any number of different people, whether it's for a table or tent or, you know, creating a sign or what have you. So I think that's certainly for event type initiatives seems like a reasonable way to go. Um,
okay, I
yeah.
just was taking a
And
pause on all the events based on the latest correspondence.
sure, yeah.
Okay,
Would you be interested in being the event, the
yes,
initiative
I,
person
I,
for a bats thing?
I volunteer, yeah.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Um, sounds good. Yeah. I mean, I think that that one feels fairly straightforward, in terms of the like get the person, go to the library, book the library space.
Mhm.
The library, if the library is available on a day that the bat person is available, the library makes it real easy because they do the AV and they help promote and all that. Track
They have a
registration.
calendar, so,
Yeah.
okay,
And I can send you um like where to post things for promotion. Um,
okay.
or you can ask me to help with promotion.
Yeah, let's get the date set and then I'll
Yeah.
take
Yeah.
it by step.
But folks sounded excited about that. I think it's a cool, interesting topic that would be fun for everyone to learn more about.
Agreed.
Cool. Let me know how I can support you in that. But yeah, I think triangulating between library availability and bat educator availability is next step. And I
Okay.
think we've tended to do weeknight evenings for those sort of things. Um, doesn't mean we have to, but I think that's what we've typically done in the past.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna start.
Cool, cool, cool. Any other upcoming events? I think Pumpkin Smash, but I think
Oh,
that's with waste. Is that I mean, we should find a point person who's going to coordinate that event.
so we have a date. It is Wednesday, November 6th. It's gonna be another lunchtime collection based on Black Earth's availability. So, 12 to 2 is what we did last year. We added a spot, so maybe it's gonna be 12 to 2:15 or something like that.
Okay.
Um, so parents will have to remember to drop off pumpkins that morning.
Yep.
We'll need folks at each location to provide a tarp, and then, I'll collect.
Cool. That'd be great. Right, and that promotion for that is usually through the PTOs and our Facebook and stuff.
Yep, so we'll have to update the, graphics and then just promote it and off it goes.
Cool. Wonderful. And then yeah, maybe similar time frame might be the next new resident 101 if that's happening this fall. So if that's happening this fall, I'm happy to take point on that one and then recruit some folks and there's not much to do for that one. It's really just to like show up and set up the table. But I'm happy to be the person for that. Um, any other events on the horizon that we want to talk about?
I think we did last year in the winter, spring, if you want to repeat it, but I don't know if we necessarily did. So, I mean, the ones you have listed as like things we brainstorm as future potential. I still think they're all great, but to be championed by somebody and push them.
Yeah. One thing seasonally that I can think of is DPW did strand light collection. That wasn't us, that was
Right.
DPW. We just helped spread the word.
Right, I mean, towards that same effort, Anna's supposed to get us a update list of what goes in the metal bucket,
mhm.
because that may take some unique, hard to next life things.
Yeah.
But yes, hopefully Christmas tree lights is collected again, because that seemed awesomely successful.
Yeah. I wonder if they could put a collection barrel for that at some of the like Christmas tree uh purchasing places.
Oh, like the,
Like would the
was that boys and
tree
girls?
selling, yeah, would the tree selling people be willing to have a barrel for taking back Birkin strand lights and then just bring them over to
Maybe.
DPW?
I mean, to that same point, the delivery elves, well, they collect them also.
Mhm.
Although I think Anne said she actually says, I think she had to buy a container, just, and she may have
Mm.
filled it last year, so I'm not sure. You know, uh, it's an endless ability to take in, but they're
Mhm.
all good points. I mean, the partnership with the delivery elves would be pretty cool.
Mhm. Um, next on our agenda was just other volunteer engagement things. Pumpkins, I think
Yes, we need folks to,
pumpkin tossing would be a good time to have some volunteers. So when oh, well, we do have a date. Maybe when we get a little closer to the date, that's something I could certainly send an email to our email list.
yeah, let's
Because
get,
that's a good, like, what, like a 1 day, like a 1 hour volunteer thing is a nice bite-sized. So if we need them at different spots, that's something we can ask for.
yes, let's notify the PTO first, and then, yeah, so the TERP was, we need folks to be able to offer theirs, and either them or someone else put it out
Mhm.
early that morning to collect and so forth, so that's
Yeah.
um diversity of folks to do it is probably the best, so no one's driving around.
Yeah. Sounds good. And I wonder, I'm thinking about how the like the drop off at Woodville anyway this year, like it's the line, you just like go through the line and the door openers. So I wonder for folks who are dropping off that way, like
Well, I mean, if the kid leaves the
maybe
car with a
maybe the kid just
pumpkin in
cares.
their hand, they can just,
Yeah.
is that because of the high school renovation work?
And there's always been a drop off
Uh,
line. This year, because of that, there are two drop off lines because they're trying to just like move folks through faster and don't have as much space. So, but yeah, no reason that a kid couldn't carry the pumpkin.
I mean, we do get pumpkins that some kids, thinking especially like kindergartners, would not be able to,
There.
either because of their size or how rough They are.
Here, kid, carry this very squishy pumpkin and then be covered in pumpkin all day at school.
Because we've definitely picked them up and half the bottom falls out on us. So
Yeah.
I guess who greets the kids when you do that?
They're volunteers like through the PTO that
So maybe they
organize.
need to get the heads up that they may be
Yeah,
hands off.
then and that might be enough is just to have given them the heads up that like there may be some pumpkins coming through this line. Please help them get to
Right.
the tarp. Yeah. Or we station a volunteer at drop-off time who helps ferry pumpkins
Right.
as needed or with a little thing, package of wet wipes in case.
It's good for your skin.
Yeah. Yes, a little pumpkin scrub. I can't think of other volunteer specific things coming up in the near term. But always good to sort of keep an eye out for those. I think food rescue, but that one's a little trickier because um food rescue folks need to have Corey uh
Right.
approval.
And aren't we losing our seniors? They need to be, they were only good for a matter of unlimited number of months or something.
Yes. We'll need to work that out with the schools.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have several more weeks of that though. That's
Mhm.
not too soon.
Does Cheyenne kind of recruit those volunteers? Is she like the point person for that?
Yeah, in the past she's had a schedule, like a sign up genius for people to schedule who's gonna pick up the food rescue on which days. She's been trying to get the Boys and Girls Club to pick up some of it when they pick up the kids at some of the schools, but I don't think that's sort of settled out yet, as you know, just as the year is starting. So she usually does recruit the volunteers, but when she's ready to put out that sign up genius, we can certainly send it out also with the caveat that folks need to have an active Corey.
Yeah, I think us supporting that would be great.
I can check in with Cheyenne on that. Yeah, that's all that I've got. Um, Typically we would next pick a next meeting time, but I think it's entirely possible that we will cease to have the subcommittee meet. So I would propose October 23rd in the event that the subcommittee continues to be a subcommittee.
23rd.
23rd would be October
Okay, well, because
23rd.
well, tonight's a Wednesday, that's what threw me off. Um,
Oh.
but that would be fine.
And if we don't continue to meet, we will need to approve tonight's minutes at some future time, including at a full ESC meeting. I think we have said in the past, as long as the relevant people are there, they can approve minutes.
Yes, we would have to ask folks that were not in attendance to agree to vote.
We would need a majority of people, not
Yes,
just of the committee, the subcommittee people.
yes.
Hmm.
I think is how it would work.
Okay, well, we'll figure that out. We can cross that bridge when we come to it. Any matters that I had not anticipated and thus not put on the agenda?
No,
All right,
look forward to the showcase.
me too. It's gonna be fun. Great. Well, then I motion that we adjourn.
Second,
Robin,
yes.
I'm a yes. We are adjourned. It is 8:19.